A little peanut to start the day. What do you think? We start the day. Start the day with a little one.
Mercer County Lake, Marcel Vinstra. We're going to catch some bass. Hey, I'm Bob Murray, Delaware Valley Outdoors. Stay tuned. I think it's going to be a good one.
That's good.
All right.
Delaware Valley Outdoors, your best source for fishing information on TV, radio, and the internet.
There's a nice one, not bad. Getting a little bit better, huh?
Yeah.
Still a small one though. Hopefully in a little while, maybe we can get one that's a little bit better than this. Yep.
We're on Mercer County Lake. It's July. I'm here with my good fishing friend Marcel Vinstra, and we're just trying to catch some fish. This is a really cool lake, Marcel. It's really close to Trenton and Mercer County area, right over here in Jersey, and it's got a good fish population, right?
Yeah. Well, so far today, we got a small one here, and I think we're going to wind up catching a couple of good fish. There you go, Bob. That looks like a good fish.
Yeah, good fish.
Huh?
Yeah, I think I got a pretty nice fish here. Pretty nice fish. Come here, baby.
Need help with him?
You want to grab mine?
I should shake this thing off. There you go, Bob. Fine job.
Marcel, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing here. We're throwing these little baits. They become very popular.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about them. Go ahead.
Okay, any of the natural stick baits, they're made by a bunch of different companies. I throw a Venom one, you throw a Durstein style bait, but the thing is, they have this nice slow fall, and right now the water is really flat, so the fish are a little finicky. They're in post-spawn mode right now, and at that point, sometimes they get a little fickle. So what we're doing is we're trying to finesse these fish a little bit.
It's a nice fish.
We tried throwing a buzz bait a little bit, and we had you had one or two fish blow up on it, and it seems like right now what we want to do is just try to finesse these fish. They weren't hitting and eating the buzz bait, so I think we'll pick up a few more.
Yeah. Now again, that was just a tap right off what do we got, about 6-7 feet of water out in front of us?
The boat's positioned in 6-7 feet of water. The fish, I think you caught them out of about 3 foot of water. They're in shallow right now, feeding a little bit, and we're going to try to get as many as we can early, and then we're going to drop back and do a little bit of Carolina Mojo rigging.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Let's catch some more fish.
Let's get them.
We're fishing a weird kind of a worm and a weird kind of a way. Tell us exactly what we're doing here and what you're doing.
Well, basically we're throwing soft stick baits. This is a Venom salty sling that I'm throwing, and anytime I see the water is real flat like this and fishing's a little tough, I'll throw something like this, a subtle bait. I just rig it on about 14, 15 pound test line. I use a 1-0 or 2-0 offset extra wide gap hook, and I'll hook it right through the middle, wacky style. If I'm around a lot of grass and I think I'm gonna get hung up a lot, I'll Texas rig it, but I'll never really throw it with any weight attached directly to the bait. And it has a way of getting some of those finicky fish.
How about the rod? What do you do with the rod?
Well, right now, I'm using a Falcon. It's a heavy 6'10", and that's just because I want to get a good hook set with this bait. I'll throw it on a spinning rod like you do. I'll use lighter line at that stage, 8 to 10 pound test, and if they're really finicky, I'll use something like that. And maybe I'll even downsize on the worm. Right now, the worm that I'm throwing is a 5-inch model. I'll throw a 4-inch model if fishing gets a little tough, or maybe if I'm fishing a river system or something like that, I'll go down to a 4-inch size.
Now, what are we looking for? We're just throwing it out willy-nilly here, or what are you actually looking for when you're throwing a bait? Because you can pitch this around docks and everything,
right.
But right now, what are we looking for?
It's a great bait to skip under docks. Right now, the way the situation is here, what we have is we have a flat, and from that flat there's a drop off, and what I'll do is I'll just try to throw it right along the drop off and let it fall down. It's a bait that you don't work that fast, so it's a little tough to cover ground with it unless you have really aggressive fish. So you pretty much got to know where the fish are ahead of time, or I'll throw it to like isolated pieces of wood, like you said, docks, maybe grass points, any kind of points. But overall, it's not a bait that I use to cover ground. Once I know there are fish in the area, it's hard, hard for them to resist this bait.
Slow down. And again, you're just throwing it out, and do you watch the line? Do you feel how?
A lot of times I'll leave it wide open and a lot of slack in my line. I don't want to take anything away from that natural presentation. I want that bait to go straight down. It'll do its little dance as it goes down, and usually that'll attract the fish.
And then how do you detect the hits?
I usually can feel that right through the rod itself. I will watch my line, but the good thing is when they grab this bait, they don't usually let go. So
That's true.
if you feel, once I feel like I've gotten to the bottom, I'll lift my rod gently. If I feel excess weight, I'll reel down on it and I'll set the hook. I mean, hook sets are free, so I'll do that.
And you can catch anything between catfish, carp,
Exactly.
bass. We've had sunfish.
Right. Today we hooked a carp, I don't know, it was 8 to 10 pound carp, it looked to me. 2 days ago I caught an 11, 12 pound catfish here on this thing, and we've caught numerous bass on it, so you never know what's
And
going to
it's just just a little drop bait.
I think it's just that subtle presentation. There are other ways to rig the bait also. I do mojo rig the bait. When I want to fish a little deeper, I'll mojo rig it. I'll set up a little bit of weight about 16 inches above the hook, and then I'll Texas rig it that way, and I'll mojo rig it also. And that's another very effective way where I've been fortunate to win a lot of money mojo rigging the bait.
But this is an easy way. Most people can do this on a
Yeah.
spinning rod. You don't have to get very technical. On a 2-aught hook, wide gap, I like a Gamakatsu. I think that's
Right.
my favorite.
That's my favorite also.
And just pitch it and let it drop.
That's it.
We'll be right back with more fishing from Mercer Lake right after this.
The danger dog will bite your ankle. The danger dog will bite your ear. The danger dog will bite your bottom if you come near. That's the danger dog. Dog.
Want to feel appreciated? When you spend time with kids, anytime, it helps prevent crime.
This is the hand that sows the seed, that grows the forest, that drinks from the stream, that hugs the mountain, that gives shape to the wind, that carries the kite, that is flown by the child, that is loved by the woman, that toils at the job, that gives to Earthshare, that supports the hand, that sows the seed.
All life is woven together. How can we choose which environmental cause to support? Earthshare, the workplace giving program, makes it simple by bringing the leading environmental groups together under one umbrella. Support Earthshare, and you support them all, including the hands that sow the seeds and protect the forests and the streams and the children. To learn more, please visit our website.
Mommy, what's wrong?
You can refuse to be a victim, and we can help. Call now about the I Refuse to Be a Victim safety course from the women of the NRA. It's not about guns or joining the NRA. It's about planning your own personal safety strategy. Call now.
You might have noticed that the markers out in the water here, obviously we have a bunch of rowers. It's a very popular area here to practice. A lot of the local colleges practice on the lake. Doesn't seem to be any trouble though. It doesn't seem to be bothering the fishermen or the rowers. So if you're into sculling, check it out too. Wait a minute, hold on. There you go. Come here. Another good fish.
There you go. His tail's a little beat up there.
Yeah.
Looks like he has something.
Yeah, got a little something going on there.
Somebody may have got to him.
Good quality fish. Got some nice fish in this lake, I really.
Sure do. Well, we got a couple of good ones today. Nothing real big, but
Hey,
good-looking fish.
these are good tournament fish, you ask me,
We got a little bit of time left, though. Maybe we can get that one we're looking for.
Again, right off of that deeper
Yep.
water again.
If we were having a tournament here today, we'd be having a good day.
Yeah, we'd have an excellent day. Marcel, let's talk just a little bit. You're a professional angler. This is your job. I mean, not today. You're trying to be nice to us and put us on some fish.
Oh, I'm having a good time today, though.
But, like you said, anytime fishing, right?
Sure.
Anytime fishing. Talk a little bit about your career, what you're fishing this year, and well, just the fact that you started on this lake. It was your very first tournament here, right?
Right, yeah. I can't recall exactly how many years ago it was, but my dad and I, we fished a buddy tournament here. That was the first tournament I ever fished. We just decided to get into it, and we wound up doing well. We came in 3rd place, and we got a check, so that was pretty exciting. And at that point, you know, I just got that feeling in my heart that I just wanted to bass fish. So things progressed from there. I started fishing more club tournaments with my dad, and then I got into singles tournaments. I started fishing the BFL tournaments. They were at the time Redman tournaments. From there we went, you know, and fished those for a few years. Then I moved up into the Everstart series, and then from there I moved up to the, you know, I qualified for the FLW tour, and that's where I'm at right now, and I really enjoy doing that. A lot of traveling, but it's a lot of fun. And you know, you make a lot of good friends out there.
Yeah, and it's tough though, right? I mean, it's a lot of time, and
right.
I know you travel a lot to practice and stuff like that, but
yeah, sometimes, you know, it's just a lot of time away from home. That's what makes it really rough. It's, you know, you're on the road alone, and you're tired, and when you're fishing on that level, you really you can't take days off. You don't have time off. You're constantly doing something. So it's not that relaxing. A lot of people think it's easy. You're going fishing. It's a vacation. They think that it's just an easy job, but
right.
We don't have sick days. We don't have days where we can say, hey, it's raining today, we're not going to fish today. You have to go out just about every day and do the job.
Wind, I mean, we were just talking about
exactly.
The wind.
Yep.
It could be blowing 40 miles an hour.
You're out.
Still
you're
got
out
to be
fishing.
out there.
You're working that day.
Yeah.
And another thing, you know, most people like to work, you know, an 8-hour day is a day worth of work. My days are from, you know, sun up till sundown, and then after that, there's even work. There's the equipment preparation. So there's a lot to it, you know, that a lot of people don't see. If you're, you know, I would say you're working at a minimum of 12 hours a day, a minimum, but it's pretty much almost, you know, 14, 16 hours a day. So it's not an easy life, but if you have it in your heart, it can be exciting.
You can hear the beep a little louder.
The JATES program has helped me so much in the outdoors. For a long time, I didn't even know what conservation even was. I want to do my part for wildlife. I love being a JATE. Whether you hunt or not, the JATES program has something for everyone. I know I'm doing my part for wildlife. I really believe children hold the key to the future of wildlife. And NWTF believes it too.
Each year, thousands are senselessly killed by people with no criminal record at all. People like you.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
You know, we sing for millions of girls, but helping out in schools, that's the real deal, baby.
I know our love can multiply.
I'm the cute one, you know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been backstage before?
'Cause you're the exit. I think you'll find that gravity is key in what I do.
Once was one, but now we're two. I'm spinning out of control.
Oh. Marcel, I mentioned before we're on Mercer County Lake. Give us a little more information about the lake and what kind of fish are in it, and you know, that kind of stuff.
Well, basically, I'm not even sure how long the lake's been here. I think it originated as a part of the Assunpink Creek, and years ago they built a dam, they flooded it, and they filled it up with water. And I remember fishing here years ago with my dad before it was even filled. And at that time it had a lot of pickerel in it, some crappie, and a lot of bass that were basically in about the 12 to 14-inch class. But since then, they flooded all the bushes in the area, and the lake's, you know, up now quite a bit from what it was back then. And the fish have really taken off well. I mean, there are bass caught every year out of here, 6 to 7 pounds, probably even a few 8-pound fish get caught out of here, and there are plenty of 3 to 4 pound fish. And right now, I mean, a lot of the brush that was here in the first few years has slowly disintegrated. There used to be a lot of bushes and a lot of flipping. Now it's become more of a finesse lake, Carolina rigging, mojo rigging, and some deep diving crankbait type fishing in the lake. So it's changed a lot over the years. The fishing, I mean, it's really gone from one style of fishing to another, and a lot of the offshore guys are catching fish in here, you know, a lot more often nowadays.
And we got fairly deep water here. We got like 7 to 8 feet. So, and we got drop-offs and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see if you just get out here a little farther, like you had mentioned, we had a time element involved, but Carolina rigging it out here in the out into the stream bed would probably be a great way to.
Yeah, you know, today, I mean, we're going to just cover a lot of shoreline, look at the lake a little bit, and just try to pick away at what we can. But if I had a lot of time, we'd be out there Carolina rigging and deep diving crankbait. Right now, these fish are in the transition zone. They're going between post-spawn and their summer patterns, and it's only a matter of time before they're all, you know, holding a little bit deeper. They're going to be mostly 8 to 12 feet deep in here. But right now, I think the fish are right around that 6-foot mark.
And you had mentioned, before we get on the water, because of the weather that we've had this year, everything's pushed back a little bit, am I right?
Right. We're on, what, July 2nd today, and I think most of the area is about 2 weeks behind. So a lot of these fish are still in post-spawn, and they're not in that summer pattern, even though the water temperature now is up to about 80 degrees. Sometimes I use a mojo rig, and now that the sun's up here a little bit and the fish have probably pulled off a little bit, this is what I prefer to use. I take it the weight, I'll peg it up about 16, 18 inches above my bait, and what I'll do is I'll just Texas rig my bait, and what it does is it leaves the bait flow a little bit more freely. Without the bait attached, I just believe it draws more strikes when they get a little finicky. And with this mojo rig, I can cover ground a little bit quicker than I normally would with the soft stick baits. So now we're going to cover a little bit of ground, and we're going to fish a little bit deeper with this. So we'll see what happens with this.
So what do we have here right now?
Well, right now what you see is we have this flat that extends out off of the land here, and in back of it there's a little bit of deep water. It's like a little deep water trough, and I guess it's like an old canal or old creek that comes through there. So you have the main lake here, you have a little deeper water out here, it comes up on the flat, and you have deeper water on the other side. It's a very good area for the fish to trap bait fish, and in the early morning it's a good time to get a topwater bite. So I really like this area. It's one of my favorite areas.
Here, right?
Out on this side it's a little deeper, and on the other side it's a little deeper. And those fish they'll roam all around this point out here. It's like an underwater point basically, and it's a good area. Hold on a second.
There you go. Another quality fish.
Yep. I'll tell you what, Mercer Lake's got a lot of nice fish, doesn't it?
Don't it?
It's been a good day out here. Another good one there.
Now, will you go to that bait during the middle of the day, or that kind of stuff?
When it's tough, I go to this bait a lot, quite often. I definitely like using this bait a lot. It's just that subtle presentation. You don't have no weight attached directly to the to your bait, and it just keeps it like a more natural, flow in the water. So I really like this bait. I think a bigger fish like it a lot too. You get a lot of good fish on this bait.
So now you go for a kicker fish with that.
Anytime you're fishing for fish that are a little finicky, and they've been worked over a lot, you know, with Texas rig, with your worm weight tied directly attached to your bait. I always try to get something like this, something where the weight is not attached to it and you got that more free fall, just like your soft stick baits that we're throwing earlier. You know, they just seem to always want those baits, and everybody wonders why they're so good. Well, a lot of it has to do with, you know, that nice slow fall, and that's basically this thing in the water column goes nice and slow. It's just more subtle as I drag it around, so I like that a lot.
Marcel, we're here with the tackle box. It's probably one of the easiest tackle boxes we're going to do today. We basically use two baits. Now, yes, we could use top water and some other things, but these baits really did it for us today. The bait that we started out with was your
Venom Salty Sling.
Salty Sling. What do they call a soft?
Well, it's basically a soft stick bait. I mean, everybody's making them anymore. I think everybody's following up on the Yamamoto Senko, and right now there are a lot of other good baits out there. A lot of companies are putting out a good bait, and I prefer the Salty Sling.
This is, yeah, it's a good bait, got it motion. Again, we've done this I don't know how many times, but it's basically we wacky rig it, and that's just right through the center of that, and then we're just pitching it. And I used the spinning rod, you were throwing it on a bait caster.
Yeah, I had bait caster with a 14-pound test line.
And it's really easy.
No problem
quite easy to cast with no weight too. It really has some buoyancy and some density to it. And we're just letting it sink, right?
Right. And the good thing is with that bait, what happens is you don't lose many fish. They usually eat it. You got a good size hook, and being in the middle of the bait, you're cutting down on, you know, the area in which they would only grab the tail. So if they grab half of the worm, you're going to get them anyway.
Right. So that's a good thing.
It's a high percentage bait.
And size hook you prefer?
I prefer a 2-0 hook most of the time. I mean, some guys are 1-0, some guys are 3-0, but a 2-0 all around for me is fine.
You feel comfortable with that?
I feel comfortable with either side of that too, but 2-0.
But a wide gap though, right?
I like the extra wide gap Gamakatsu hook.
Yeah, that does. I like it.
Yep.
It does you set the hook on a fish.
Well, we've seen one that you had today. We couldn't get the hook out of it, so you've seen how that.
Yeah,
worked.
that was just heart stuck into its bone. Okay, the other thing that we used today was a Mojo rig.
Right.
Now, it's been around for a while. I guess it started in California.
Right, years ago. Yeah. It's been around for quite a while. Basically, it's a finesse way of fishing a Carolina rig. You're able to cover a lot of ground quickly. You can get your weight down, your bait down, I should say, to whatever level you want and move along quickly. And I'll, select my weights according to, the depth that I'm fishing and, where I'm trying to get to.
And they run from an eighth to?
You could go I use anywhere from a tiny split shot all the way up to maybe a half ounce. Once I get past that stage, I'm into a full Carolina rig from basically a half ounce on.
Right. But it's pretty simple. This is like a tube weight. It's got a hole in it.
Cylinder style weight.
And you just slide it on your line, and then you just feed this rubber
peg. You just peg it.
And then when you got it, the distance on your line where you want it above your hook, then you just clip it off.
Clip it off each end, and then snug to go.
And it's snug to go. And it still slides a little bit, but
it may. I mean, sometimes depending upon how tight you make it, I don't want to make it too tight. I don't want to do anything to my line. I always get a little weary at that. But
that's
a great way to catch fish when the going's tough.
And again, you said it's a finesse way, but also we're hitting a little bit different drop-offs.
Right.
We could throw it when you could let it fall down that drop-off, right?
Well, yeah. Today we seen the fish were shallow early, and it seemed like they were more on the drop-offs as the day progressed. And what we did was we started dragging them off there. And that subtle bait seemed to be the better producer of strikes.
Well, there you go. 2 simple baits. We're gonna go catch more fish.
That's it. I'm ready. Let's go.
Tackle box.
Oh yeah, we got a nice bass here.
Good bass. Good fish.
They're getting
nice fish. Nice fish. Well, Marcel, I want to thank you for taking us out here on Mercer County Lake. Marcel also writes a column for us on Delaware Valley Outdoors. Go to our website, DelawareValleyOutdoors.com, to read his column, find out what he's doing on a professional trail. Come on over here to Mercer County sometime. July, Senkos, we're going to catch fish. Hey, I'm Bob Murray. I'll see you on the water.
I don't know what I got, but I got something big. Just show yourself. I just want to see what this fish is. they they can make for some excitement.
This boy's going.
Oh my God! Did you see that initial run from this fish? Unbelievable.
When you set the hook on it, I initially thought it was going to. That was a nice. We got a nice bass coming.
Oh man, I just had to loosen the drag. I was scared he was going to pop. Whoa, baby. No, you know what? It's a carp. Can you believe it? Oh my God.